Welcome back, people. This is Authorized. This is a little bit of an impromptu video, not planned. I know what you're thinking. Other videos of yours have been planned. Yeah, okay, they have, and they still suck. Get over it. Yeah, we're going over to our local Harley because they told us they're having a demo day today, including like the Pan America and Sportster S and all the other, I believe, 2021 lineup. And I was pretty surprised because I look for these demo events because I want to try out other bikes. And I had seen absolutely nothing about this. I decided instead of taking a chill day today after finishing editing, we're gonna go over and try some bikes. I want to get my ass on the Sportster, the new, what is it, Rev Max engine Sportster, and the Pan America as well. I know the engines are pretty much the same on them, but it's a different bike. They're two different bikes. So I want to know how they are. I've got no idea. I know tons of people have done their little test rides on them and their reviews, but not me. I need to get my ass in the saddle. So that's where we're headed. We'll do a little fast forward and all of a sudden we're there. Watch. And with a little movie magic, we have arrived. There's the demo truck back there. Hopefully there's not too many people signed up to ride. All right, we're here. Let's see what they got. You ready to not be dropped off this time? This is where I dropped her off of a Road Glide Limited. We're out on a ride now, but I was able to get on the Pan America next. So we're doing the Pan America first. And then we're gonna take the Road Glide Limited in the meantime, because that's the one we took the first time we did demo day and I dropped her off of. So we're gonna take that next, in between the new Sportster, because I get to try the new Sportster last. So that'll be cool. All right, let's hurry up and wait for the Pan America to get back.
All right, so if you know me, you know my GoPro audio issues. So this audio is being recorded in post. This is the 2021 Pan America Special that I took out. It's got the new Revolution Max 1250 engine. It's got 94 foot-pounds of torque, about 150 horsepower. This thing is pretty crazy. It's a good looking bike in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like the look, but to me it looks kind of like a stormtrooper or something. It's pretty cool. Because of the adaptive ride height, it has a bit of a squat when it's at a standstill, so it's pretty easy to get on. It's got a nice little peg on the kickstand that helps you kick it up. He was just showing me that. Then for your turn signals, you have them on one side, which is really weird for Harley. It's got something like 8 ride modes. You've got your rain, your road, your sport, your off-road plus, and like 3 other ride modes you can program yourself. I think I took it out in rain mode at the start here. When I pulled out, I hadn't had any previous experience with this clutch, so it was nice to be able to just use. It's a nice old cable clutch, so I could just pull right out, no problems. The bike is really well balanced. I felt at a standstill, like getting going right away. Just a nice balance to it. It didn't feel like, you know, these big giant heavy bikes, because this bike is only about 534, I think it was, 534 between like 560, something like that, depending on which model you get. I believe the Special is a little heavier, and probably even more when you get some bags. We were supposed to be able to get on the throttle a couple points. At one point you can see here where I revved the engine real hard before the clutch engaged, and those RPMs just shot up to 1,000,000. Like, it was pretty crazy how quickly these RPMs pull up. It's a very responsive engine in my opinion, but it's a very comfortable bike. I didn't like the pegs too much. The pegs are really narrow. You don't feel like you have a lot to it, and they're a little bit tucked behind you. I sit 5'10", so the pegs felt tucked behind me just a little bit. It'd be nice if I sat like fully straight up planted. I don't know the utility of it. I don't ride adventure bikes, so I really couldn't tell you anything about it. The one thing I noticed pretty immediately was the brakes on these things. So the Pan America does have linked brakes. It brakes really well. I don't know if it's the front and the rear when you touch either one, or if it's more heavy on the other. I really don't know. But all I knew is when I grabbed that front brake, it's very sensitive and it is very good. And the bike isn't very heavy, so it stops on a dime. It feels like I could easily just flip this thing if I just grip that front brake, but all the technology they've got in this thing assures you won't do that kind of stuff. I'm sure you can still dump it from being a moron, but you know, what can you say? We did manage to hit some real crappy streets, so I got to feel the suspension, and it is just a really smooth ride on the road. This one didn't have knobbies or anything. They were definitely the road tires, and we didn't get to do any off-road, but on the road, these things are real cush, and that seat is plush. It's not a kind of performance seat that I'm used to, like a Saddleman or something, where it is a little stiffer, but it's a good solid base that you want to sit on. But you wear out a lot quicker on those. On this seat, it's actually really soft and comfortable, even though you're sitting a little weird, maybe on a part of your ass that you're not really used to, unless you've ridden adventure bikes before. The seat ended up actually being really nice. I felt like I could sit on this thing for hundreds of miles. It was odd. The knee position, the leg position would probably prevent me from doing that. I don't know if you can change the mid controls on these, but if you could ride this bike for a long time. This new engine is something else though. It is so torquey and so powerful. I never got even into 6th gear. I don't even know if I even got into 5th, but it just spins right up and pulls. It's pretty phenomenal. It's a good time. I unfortunately had a Sportster S that was on the test ride with me right behind me, doing a whole lot of rubber banding, so I couldn't really dip left and right to test out the balance of the bike, which is something I really like to do when I'm on the road by myself, or with people who give you enough room to ride. I like to dip in and left and right and feel the balance of the wheel. This bike definitely feels like it'd be peppy, but I couldn't really discover that when somebody's ride my ass. So I know this is just a short review. I only got a tiny little demo ride, but to me it felt like a freaking awesome bike. I would want to buy this bike. It would definitely encourage me to hit some of the off-road stuff. Not quite like trails or hill climbing like a dirt bike can hit, but just seeing those dirt roads and being, I want to go there. Or taking it camping, like going up dirt roads up into the good camp spots. This would be awesome for that. I know you probably would have to put some knobbies on there, but it's capable of it. This bike is so comfortable, so light and whippy, so powerful. It's just a blast to ride. So next up is gonna be the Road Glide Limited that we're just taking out in between the Pan America and the Sportster because it was already booked up. So I was just waiting for that, and I dropped my girl off of it. As I said, I dropped her off of it the last demo day, and it's a big heavy bike, and they had hydraulic clutches, which I loathe. So I just figured I needed to take that one out, prove to myself I can actually ride that bike now that I've got coming on 2 years experience. I guess it's like a year and a half, I don't even know. But we had to hop on that, take it for a little ride, enjoy it a little bit. Honestly, I didn't enjoy it that much. It is just too big and heavy a bike, especially with my passenger on the back. It makes it a rough time. You gotta get used to the weight of those things. They're pretty damn heavy. And finally, we have the 2021 Sportster S. The first thing you notice about it is just how low it is and how easy it'd be to jump on if you're a shorter rider. It's got a small 4-inch display there in the middle. Similar to the Pan America, it has the different ride modes. You have your road, your sport, your rain mode. You can also customize these to put in different options into them. The clutch was nice and easy, just like the Pan America. You could just pull right away with. It's just a normal cable clutch. And the Sportster is actually a belt drive compared to the Pan America's chain drive, delivering 94 torque, 121 horsepower, which is actually 29 less horsepower than the Pan America, which I thought was odd. But from what I've heard, the Pan America is tuned differently to ride like a different bike. It's a little bit lighter, coming in just over 500 pounds. So the Pan America Special sitting about 560. So it's a very light maneuverable bike. Similar grips to the Pan America, they are smaller in diameter than normal Harley grips. They are pretty comfortable to hold. It's just a bit different if you're used to the normal Harley feel. One thing that was very odd riding this bike, because I'm new to sport bikes in general, I don't know if you'd consider this a sport bike, I suppose it is, but I could not see the mirrors or the gauges. In the video here, you're able to see that just because of the wide angle, but looking straight out above the bike, I'm unable to see the gauges and I'm unable to see the mirrors. It was really odd for me not being able to see the bike and even looking down to see the front of the tire coming in contact with the road. The mirrors did not feel useful at all. I'd have to completely take my focus off the road to check the mirrors, which I do not care for, and the same for the gauge. I would have to look down. I prefer to have my gauges close to within eyesight. And with everything out of your eye line, it just feels like you're sitting on top of a rocket that you can't see. The bike does feel insanely torquey though, and it takes off real quick. I don't know if it was because I rode the Pan America and another bike before this one, but I did feel like this bike took off a lot quicker. But something weird that comes with all that power were the brakes on this bike. This brake only has a single disc up front compared to the Pan America's dual disc front brake. I don't know why you would want to go so fast and only have one front brake. I mean, I know they're better, they are Brembos, but I still would prefer a dual disc up on the front. And when I tapped on the rear brake at a couple points, I felt like it almost did nothing. I had to push pretty hard and I just gave up using it and used the front brake. It's almost like the rear brake is only meant for cornering or something, so you can't really use too much pressure on the rear brake. I don't know, maybe that's how they designed it. You'd have to ask a professional. As far as ergonomics, I didn't really care for the seating position or the seat in general. The seat feels about half an inch thick. I know it's probably a little thicker, but it feels like it's barely even there. And again, I sit at 5'10", so my knees were a little bit bent, legs out in front on those forward controls. But because of the bar position way forward and down low, it kind of forced me to hunch over. Couldn't sit straight up, and I couldn't straighten my back and lean forward. So on this only about 30-minute demo, I was already getting fatigue in my back. I feel like with some mid or rear controls this would be better, but looking at the concepts for the Street Fighter, I feel like that would have been a better positioning for the bike. Instead of converting the Sportster over to this new model, you've got the Street Fighter, which is an actual sport bike, and you have the seating position to go with it. Either way, this engine is something else, and in either platform, it performs. I may not like it in the Sportster here, with the seating position and all the gauges and mirrors and them being not too easy to see, but if what you want to do is to go fast, this thing goes fast. I only got in a couple good pulls. One was from like a rolling 5 to 10 miles an hour up to almost 60, and I felt like it got there at the snap of a finger. Before I even realized what was going on, I was going 50-something miles an hour. So all in all, it's still a fun and super fast bike. Maybe not the bike for me. I think I would still prefer the Pan America. It just seems like you get a few more things that the Sportster just doesn't have to offer, including a higher RPM limit, higher horsepower, off-road capabilities, dual disc front brakes, adjustable ride heights, automatic adjusting ride height, and I know we all like it a little bit bigger of a tank. Seeing as the Sportster S only has about a 3-gallon tank and the Pan America is about 5.5. So that's my 2 cents on the Pan America versus the Sportster S. I definitely prefer the Pan America, but I know a lot of people are enjoying the Sportster S. I see a lot of people buying them right now. I know I only had 30-minute demo rides on each one. These aren't long-term reviews at all. I'm sure there's lots I'm missing, lots you can find about them online, lots of specs I didn't cover. But these are my first impressions of these bikes. Thanks for coming along to check out the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell for the notifications. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, y'all ride safe now, you hear?